Hi, my name is Linda Wentzell. I'm very pleased to be able to be here with Bernice today and share my story. I was born in Bridgewater, Nova Scotia many moons ago and moved away to Germany when I was a young girl. After moving back to Canada, I spent 13 years at CFB Petawawa and then moved back to Nova Scotia in the early 1970s, and I've been here pretty much ever since, except a lovely stint in British Columbia with the fabulous people there and the mountains that I never got used to seeing while I was in there. Today I am doing a variety of things and just having a chat with someone briefly about a project that I would like to bring to fruition sometime or another called Elder Wisdom. And that is also about hearing other people's stories and just sitting in the moment and listening and not talking, but hearing what people have to say. So it's great that if people have good stories to share, or if they have, they're in a moment of funk and they just need someone to hear them. I would love to be present in the moment for them as an invitation for people to come and sit and speak and say whatever is on their mind. And just as simple as that, just being in the present, in the moment with them and their stories. Well, this particular project came as a result of a revelation I had a few years ago. And the revelation was that we're actually that I'm on the continuum of, the time continuum of my particular lifetime, however long that may be or not. And I'm realizing, I'm looking around when I'm out and I'm seeing these young ladies pushing baby carriages, and I'm thinking that these are babies having babies. And I'm thinking, wow, they're having families at such a young age these days. And one day then I realized that the people who would have been what I would consider wisdom keepers or the elders, or people who I would have spent time playing cards with at the Legion or hearing their stories on Remembrance Day, and that age group, they were no longer here, friends and communities and neighbors, and they were passing. And suddenly I realized that I was moving into that space that they, would have been in towards the end of their lives. And so it's like, wow, so what does that mean for me? And suddenly I realized that, I'm in the place of being considered an elder or a wisdom keeper in the community, because I have a ton of stories, of life stories that I can share, the wisdom that I've gained as an experience, as a result of the experiences that I've had in my lifetime. And I've had a few because I'm a nonconformist and I've always been a bit of a rebel, and I do tend to think outside of the box. So some of my favorite people in the world, people like Dr. Dyer is an example. I'm really inspired by him because he's a mover and a shaker. He made a huge difference in in the world. He was a global leader in self-help, as an example. Louise, who was a globally known for her work in self-healing. And who else have I got on that list? Greg Braden, who's bringing a lot of great information to the world today. And I'm very inspired by these people, and if they have a message to bring to the world. And my friends have been saying to me, you should write a book. You should write a book, and you should bring this out to the world. And as I've had so many experiences, a ton of different jobs as I was growing up, but it had to, for me, it was the experience of trying something out to see if there was a resonance, a compatibility with me, to a chance to meet different people, to move in different circles, and just to see how the world worked from different perspectives. And so I could bring that to the table. And so that's part of my wisdom around the energy work that that I do. And because we're talking about how storytelling, and wisdom keeping is going to look in the future. And I also believe too that the kind of work and research and experiences I've had around working with energy is going to be the new norm at some point or another. There's a lot of changes that are going on in the world, and people are becoming disillusioned with not necessarily their lives, but how where we fit in the scheme of things, in the global scheme, in our community, and so on. And there are a lot of people who are going back to the traditional way of living, and with recycling things instead of going to the store and buying something and go out and buy as something at the secondhand store, for the practical aspect of using less natural resources to create something new. And so we're looking at helping the planet that way. Also, in the way people want to be well, they are looking at how they can do something that's going to change their wellness and how they perceive it and their life, so that they're actually empowering themselves more, making more informed decisions for themselves. And so people who are doing offering things like herbology, native medicines, and so on, are bringing that to the table. It's always been there, but it's getting to be more and more known, and I think more and more desirable. And because we're all energy, we can actually co-create what we want to manifest. And some of the examples I can speak of. My cat Rascal was very ill one day, and I actually thought he was going to die on that spot. And I used my pendulum, because I'm a dowser. I used my pendulum, set my intent for what I wanted to create for him, and of course for me too, because I was going to be devastated if he was going to make it through this crisis. And I worked with him, setting the intent and changing the energy around what was happening with him. And within 10 minutes, he was at the front door, went to go back outside and play. I'm a Reiki practitioner. I've been a Reiki practitioner since the late 1990s. And that's a modality that a lot of people are familiar with today, and a lot of people are using. Things like massage therapy as well have come into the norm. Like, people may think it's a little woo-woo, but 30 years ago, massage therapy was never really considered as a healing modality at all. And we may never have heard of acupuncture back in that time in terms of what was going on in North America. So there's this huge change that's happening in North America. So the energy work that I can do also changes. It helps people to manifest what they want. An example perhaps would be that recently I was asked by someone in Mahone Bay to help to sell their house. It's been on the market for 3 years, and they asked, I was going for a visit for a cup of tea and a chit chat with this lady, and she said, bring your dowsing tools with you. And I get over there and find out that she's asking my help to have her house sold. So we did some work around that. And feng shui, which is it's called the ancient Chinese art of placement. Together with that, we were able to come up with a few remedies, and in less than 2 months, she had about 8 or 9 people expressing interest in the place where there hadn't been any movement at all. And lo and behold, she now has a buyer for it, just that fast. So that's very exciting. It's very exciting. And so what I do with my energy work is about what I can help other people to achieve, what it is their desires are and what their intentions are for improving their life and changing their life as well.